Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm just going to quickly touch on the latest fusion and maybe if I've got any tips for getting through the fusion without pulling your hair out, because as we all know, raid fusions take up a lot of time and a lot of resources, and if you're not careful, a lot of money. So just really quick overview of the champ. There's tons of videos of content creators that have managed to get him on the test server and have a good test of him. He is a DPS dwarf with attack. He's super cool. He's got a good aura. He's got an AoE on his A1, which is super cool. If he places weaken on everyone, he gets extra turns. His A2 seems to completely smack, especially if you're using him against bosses. And I think his A3, yep, is another AoE. And he ignores unkillable and shield buffs. He just sort of ramps up his own damage and just creates a nuisance. And yet every 5 turns, he does his A1 again. So ultimately, he's just a really good sort of baseline smack everyone and hopefully they just die kind of champion. It's cool. Dwarves have some good DPS options, but it's quite nice to get a force affinity DPS. I know that that's one thing on my account that I'm lacking. So the main question to ask, as with any fusion, is will this champion change my account for the better? Now, obviously, it's going to take away your shards, probably your gems, your XP brews, a hell of a lot of silver, a lot of your time, and a lot of effort. So, you know, that is always going to be what it is. But is he a game-breaking champion? Not really. He's good, and it's nice to... Like I say, it's nice to have a force affinity dwarf. He's going to be very helpful in the latest event dungeon, and leveling him up and ascending and gearing and booking him masteries is all going to count towards the coalition event that we've got going on at the moment. So, you know, it's just a little bit of reward, a little bit of give back for what you put in. So rather than go over everything that we kind of already know about the champ and also how hard the latest event dungeon is, I just thought I would bring up just the schedule. Now, again, I'm not going to deep dive into this too much, but I think we can just sort of see where we are, see what we've got to do, and maybe, you know, hopefully get a few tips along the way. Now, at the moment, I think most people would have probably started doing Dungeon Divers and Spider. That's quite cool. They coincide nicely. And obviously, if you're watching this today, we've got the Summon Rush and the Champ Training Tournament. They tend to run alongside each other. And then sort of starting from, well, late Saturday, but, you know, mainly Sunday, we've got gear enhancements to roll up anything you got from Spider. Also the new tournament event dungeon if you're doing it. Classic arena takedown, really easy, just do arena. Now, what then happens is, at about that mark, we sort of enter into the next week. Now, like with most fusions, they don't require you to do a whole lot of stuff during the week, because obviously people have got work, people have got lives. So maybe everything that I've done in blue here, see that as what you can do this weekend. And then as we move into next week, you could maybe focus on doing this. Now, obviously, if you've done fusions before, you'll know that just completing the Ice Golem tournament is not going to complete the Dungeon Divers event. Now, if this was any other fusion, I usually find that to be a bit of a pain. But we now have the event dungeon, which is going to give you a good chance at some pinpoint gear. Yeah, depending on your level, you might not be looking at getting 6-star mythicals or whatever, but that's okay. Even just a 2-piece accessory set from Pinpoint is going to give you, I think it's 20 accuracy and 5% speed, something like that. So it's all just a nice little touch. And then anything you're going to get from that dungeon, you've got the gear enhancement here, which, you know, can't complain. So then we sort of draw a line there, and we'll just change our color again. Let's do a nice pink or something. And then moving into the weekend, you've got a dragon tournament, another champ chase, and another training event. the Dragon Tournament kind of sticks out a little bit because it only just overhangs the next Dungeon Divers kind of set. So we'll sort of break that there, and then we'll go for like a green or something. It doesn't actually matter, does it? Oop, that. And then sort of do those. So it's kind of in 4 bits, with the middle of the week being pretty easy. There's not a whole lot going on during the week. But like with all fusions, don't try and just rush to do everything in one hit, because it's kind of hard to, you know, as you collect these rares from doing these events, you could maybe save them until this final champion training event here and then just do them all there. Also, if you do that, you can turn your rares into your epics and you'll get points for the champion chase. So the key, like with all fusions, is try and double dip your points wherever you can. There are plenty of good guides on YouTube about how to best maintain your resources. I think if you go over to somewhere like Hell Hades, I know there's a couple of content creator YouTubers that are really good at this. Nub Raids is probably my go-to when it comes to just organizing your week out. Boozer is really good for a sort of free-to-play type perspective. So, like I said in my last video, it's a big update with a lot going on, but, you know, don't despair. You don't have to go for this fusion. Don't get sucked in. Raid are very good at sucking you in, but you don't have to. But looking at the screen here, this is kind of what I would attempt to do. That's how I'm going to sort of break up my week. I am going for this fusion. I don't need it, but I've got the resources and I think he looks kind of fun. I'd quite like to throw him in somewhere like Hydra and just sort of see where we go. So hopefully everyone's sort of getting on with it. I know fusions are really expensive and they take a lot of your time. And if I can leave you with the biggest tip I can possibly give you at the moment, and that is, if you only do fusions and keep it very minimal during other events that are going on during the month, you will find that you always have enough resources to do this, so you don't need to give Plarium any more of your money. Just limit your gameplay and don't try and do everything, because if you try and do everything, you're probably going to achieve nothing. So just take it day by day, do it bit by bit. Now's a good time to really sit and think, do I actually need this fusion? Do I have enough resources to do it? If all I had were the shards that I've got here, I would be thinking maybe I won't do this fusion. Now, luckily, I've already done the Summon Rush up to the getting the extra epic, because I had enough sacred shards to burn. You know, like with all things in life, and especially where it involves your time and your money, just in the first instance think, can I actually do this? If the answer is yes, we'll kind of see it like a flow chart. It's like, how easy is this going to be to do it? At the end of the day, if it's going to be a nightmare to do it, don't do it. I'm sure that you probably somewhere on your account have a force DPS champion that you can use and put your gear on for something else. So hopefully everyone enjoys this fusion. I think it's a good one, but not necessarily great. There's loads of cool events going on in Raid at the moment, so I will be dropping some videos covering those. If you want to see me cover anything, please just drop a comment below. If you like it, please like and subscribe. If not, tell me why. And until next time, thank you for watching.